Hey, Anime Addicts, this show is brought to you by you, the listener. And if you would like to help out this podcast and continue to make it ad-free, you can help us out. Go over to our website, aapodcast.com/join our Patreon. You can throw us a couple bucks and get all of our exclusive podcast content just for you. You can also just simply donate through the website, which we would appreciate. And even if you don't have any monetary support to throw our way, you can just go leave a 5-star review on iTunes or something. And if you've already done that, we're so happy to have you here. We hope you enjoy the podcast, so let's get it rolling.
You're listening to the Anime Addicts Anonymous Podcast. Take your anime addiction to the next level at aapodcast.com/join. And now, here are your anime addicts.
Hello, welcome into the podcast, everybody watching on Twitch and listening from home. We are so happy to have you here for the 548th episode of the Anime Addicts Anonymous Podcast, where we're here to make your anime addiction worse because, you know, it's been an 11-year effort, people. We're trying our hardest. If you're not addicted by now, well, I don't know what to tell you. But hey, if you want to follow us, you can watch us on Twitch at twitch.tv/AAA Podcast, live every Sunday at 5 p.m. Eastern. So check us out over there. You can also follow us on Facebook and Twitter if you want to get all the podcast news from the lovely Caroline, who handles our social media. And of course, also on Discord. So I'm your host, Mitsugi, and I'm joined by the wonderful Mason. How are you, Mason?
I'm doing all right. I'm a little gassed, a little exhausted, a little tired, but nonetheless motivated to drop some terrible puns on you guys today, so excited to be here.
And we also have Mandy from frigid Ohio. I don't know, is it cold?
It's a little chilly. It's getting colder. We've been having freeze warnings every night, basically. Hi guys, I'm excited to be here and talk about anime and play this game that we have coming up.
And of course, I am Mitsugi, and I just bought 24 cans of Pink Monster. Oh my god. And I'm gonna pour it. It actually matches Mason's shirt perfectly, this can of Monster. Ooh. Yeah, if you buy Monster in bulk, it is cheaper. Guys, on the podcast today, and I'm gonna need every drop of this Monster for our over-under game. It's returning. Last time we set up the over-under game, we had so many submissions from you guys from Discord and elsewhere that we had enough to play multiple games. So we're going to be doing that. We're also going to be doing Does Mitsugi's Mom Know later, so you'll get to hear from one of our listeners and see if our victim can outsmart my mother, which would be very interesting. And we have Fall 2020 impressions. We're on the third round, people. We're clawing our way through the fall season. We got impressions on Noblesse, Higurashi no Nakukoto ni Goal, Ikebukuro Westgate Park, I'm Standing on 1 Million Lives, Iwakakeru Sport Climbing Girls, which I know probably everybody, well, we've talked about it about 6 times, so at least everybody knows about it. And Taisou Zamurai. So now that you know what we are doing today, we had lots to get to. Everybody feeling good?
Yeah.
All right, well, you know what?
Thank you for showing up, guys.
Yeah,
of
course.
I hope you all had a wonderful Halloween.
You know what? That's a good point. So, what did you guys eat on Halloween that was your favorite thing that you had? Just real quick.
Oh, we didn't do anything special. We got a little pumpkin roll that had some cream cheese and stuff in it. It was really good though.
Strong move with the pumpkin roll. And Mason?
Pumpkin seeds out of the pumpkin you carved, Mandy? At least?
No. We bought it.
I had some pumpkin bread. That's probably very seasonal.
And I swiped about 7 Reese cups from my company and just pocketed all of them, and I brought those home. So I don't know, Reese cups are pretty baller. So guys, let's get started with the big news. I hope everybody had a happy Halloween.
大ニュースです。 It's time for big news of the week.
Bringing you the hits every week, only the hottest items from the news. Sony is on the precipice, I would say, of buying Crunchyroll officially, and effectively owning all of us, pretty much, because they will, at that point, control, 75 to 80% of all anime streaming. So that's interesting. So currently, AT&T owns Crunchyroll, and they've been shopping Crunchyroll for a while. We talked about this before, and the last time we discussed it, AT&T wanted way too much money for Crunchyroll, and Sony was not having it. But it looks like Sony has changed their tune and has recently obtained exclusive rights to bid on Crunchyroll and are prepared to pay upwards of $957 million for Crunchyroll's 70 million free members and 3 million subscribers. So, any thoughts, guys, on the Crunchyroll acquisition?
No, not really. I really don't think anything really awful is going to come out of this. I saw a lot of people saying, "Oh no, one company's going to own all the anime." I'm like, I really don't think it's going to be that big of a deal, though.
Yeah, the ownership up top isn't going to flow down to this. I mean, maybe it'll stream better on your PlayStation now, but if you're watching on your computer, I don't think it'll make much of a difference.
No, and
I hope.
If anything, maybe, I don't know, maybe down the line, maybe Funimation will just handle the dubbing side and the distribution side, and maybe we'll only have one subscription down the line.
God.
Who knows? That would be amazing for me, at least.
Yeah, I mean, so the acquisition gives Sony control of Crunchyroll's 1,000 titles and over 30,000 episodes of anime, according to Nikkei Asia. Sony would, it's not official yet, but I think it sounds like by the end of November it will be. Sony will then own Crunchyroll, Funimation, Waka Anim, which is from France, Madman Anime Group, and also Aniplex. So that's, it's I really don't want to pay. Honestly, I'm not gonna lie. I don't really want to pay $7 for Funimation, $7 for Verve, $7 for Crunchyroll. And still not have all the anime I want to watch. I've said this before, but when you sign up for 19 streaming services, you're really just paying for cable again. So honestly, I'd kind of like it if they just dissolved all these and made a bigger single entity that had all the anime we need for one price. I'd much rather would pay $10 to have everything absorbed into Verve or something. Maybe keep on. Let's face it, Funimation's existed originally for dubbing, so maybe just continue to let them dub things, but we don't really need to pay another $8 for Funimation. So
my only negative Nancy knee-jerk reaction to that though is when you get the inevitable the site goes down or isn't working well, there's no backup plan. when one place drops the ball, you're like, well, at least I can watch it on this other site. But if they all conglomerate, it's kind of tough.
Now, I am curious though, because since Crunchy will now be under be owned by Sony, will they still continue to adapt manhwa? I wonder if they'll cease that and be like, no, we don't need to worry about that anymore, because that'd be kind of sad. Or I don't know. I don't know if that will happen, but it's just a thought that I had.
I think my perspective on this is, one, Sony overpaid massively for this. I don't think that Crunchyroll's worth anywhere near $1 billion. My opinion, of course. So, I don't know. Crunchyroll would have to make an awful lot of profit every year to be worth $1 billion, and I just don't think they do it. So 3 million subs really isn't that many. And my other thought is that Sony must truly believe anime is the thing of the future. So if they're willing to fork out $1 billion for this, then they really to just get even a larger chunk of the anime market, they must really believe anime is going to be the thing going forward. So they're rolling it in there with their basically iron grip on console gaming. So I don't know. It's not really, to me, I don't think it's a bad thing. I just think it looks, I think it shines brightly on anime's future because a whole bunch of analysts at Sony did a lot of work and said, "Oh, anime is the up and coming thing, and we should invest more in it." That's how I see it. So, I don't know. I don't know. So, moving on from that, Mandy, so many new. The only real competitor to, well, I guess there's still Hulu hanging around for now. The big competitor probably to Sony now in anime is Netflix, and you have a bunch of releases to talk about. Yes.
Yeah, Netflix has a lot coming up in 2021 for anime. Some of these I'm just gonna like briefly run through because I actually don't know anything about the source material, but one of them for sure I'm very excited about. So the Thermae Rome Novea, I don't know anything about it. It's hasn't this already been out?
I've talked about this. I think this is a remake or new version of the like classic, like the guy from like Greek not mythology, but he like gets transported to Japan. Yeah, and he learns about like their technology. I have to imagine it's a.
Doesn't he just review like onsen? Is that the same one? Yeah,
sort of. It was like a 2012 like short, and I think there's like a new series based on it. So it was very dumb, but it could be goofy, and who knows?
I remember something about that and thinking, "Wow, this is really silly."
It is.
But so that's coming out, and then also an adaptation of the manga High Rise Invasion is coming out. I've heard about this manga. I have never read it, but it is like another kind of over-the-top death game sort of thing.
Oh God!
When I was looking at it, it reminded me of that like Angels of Death anime, but I could be wrong. That's just what I thought of when I first looked into the manga because it was recommended to me, but I just never got to it. That one is being adapted by what studio picked this up? Let's see. Zero G is picked that one up. They're bringing out I think it's already out actually. It says 2001, but 2001.
Wow!
I'm so sorry.
If only we could go back to 2001. That was definitely a better year than 2020.
2021. I'm so sorry. Of the Rilakuma to Yuanichi, it's like.
I think this is the sequel. The sequel season.
Okay.
So the
because you
first
recently
season,
talked about it.
I just watched it, and it's pretty fun. It's actually like Gallon Dino mixed with like a Gretzko. It's like weird, like cute stop motion is a way to tell this lady's story of like, hey, I'm in like midlife crisis mode and struggling as an adult, and it takes a visual like curve, and it's not quite anime styled, but nonetheless it's very, very fun, and I enjoyed it.
That's really interesting because when I saw it, it's like stop motion, like teddy bears and like little stuffed animals. But I thought it was just like a kid show. But now that you're how you're describing it, that might be.
It's a little more than I was expecting, and I think it's for the better.
Cool. Oh, wow. I might check that out. I'm gonna skip over the best one. I'll save that for last. Vampire in the Garden is coming out through, or it's being produced by Wit Studio. So that should be pretty good. And this one looks like it's about a woman and a vampire queen. It says in the divided world of the future, two girls want to do the forbidden. The human wants to play the piano, and the vampire wants to see a wider world. So maybe some vampire Yuri friends? I would like that.
Wait, piano is forbidden? Did I hear that right?
No, violin.
A violin is forbidden. Well, if it's violin, the
cursed strings.
It's some bad shit right there. You got some, Paganini, possessed by the devil and whatnot. So people are like, the fuck are you talking about?
A little bit faster. I think Godzilla SP. Did we already talk about that?
Yes, Godzilla. Yeah.
Eden is coming out, and this one is slated for fall 2020. So
it was supposed to come out, but it got moved to May 2021.
Okay, and this one is this a series or a movie? I don't know anything about.
I think this is a short, like 4-episode series.
Okay. Spriggan is also coming out. That one looks super wild. When I watched the PV for that one, I'm really interested in that one. Then there is the Rohan one, which I've already talked about, the live action Rohan. Or I think actually the whole like Thus Spoke Kishibe Rohan is coming to Netflix. So before I don't think it was anywhere like legally streaming. So now you'll actually be able to see it. At least I think. I don't think Crunchyroll ever got it, did they?
I don't think so.
Yeah. And then Yasuke is coming out, which I think you mentioned is kind of like a looks like it might be sort of like a Samurai Champloo type of style.
Yeah, it'll be very like hip hop inspired. It's got like a fly low soundtrack, and it's going to be historical and samurai and pretty cool, I think.
But the best is anime version of Way of the House Husband. I told you it was gonna come. I'm super excited.
Here we go.
It was only a matter of time.
The voice actor is Kenjiro Suda. So if you know anything that he has been a voice in, he's perfect for this role. He has the perfect like dad Yakuza voice. It's great. So yeah, I'm super excited for this one. And if you have not read the manga, I highly recommend checking it out because it's a lot of fun. It's a very like wholesome, kind of just episodic, really, really funny story about a man who is an ex-Yakuza member, but now he is just working at the house, or he's doing house chores while his wife goes to work because she wanted to go to work, so he decided to become a stay-home dad. Well, I guess not dad, they don't have kids, but like just stay-home husband while she goes off to work. And it's so great because the way that he how he looks at everything is through the eyes of a Yakuza boss, and it's so funny.
I think in our Discord, anytime someone comes in and it's like, Mandy, what's a good manga I should read? That's a comedy. You're like, Way of the House Husband. And then they read it and they're like, why is this not an anime yet?
Yeah.
There you go.
And thus it will so. So are these all Netflix produced, or are they just? I mean, are these all shows where they're putting their
the Netflix original tag on them, whatever involvement they may or may not have with their creation is, probably very varying between them.
Here's a bag of money type of deal.
Yes.
Here's a giant bag of money that will magically vanish and not end up where it needs to be.
Perhaps.
I say cynically. All right. Well, Netflix is awesome. So, I was just telling people in the Hobby Addicts that Blood of Zeus animation series is pretty badass as well, along the same lines as the Castlevania. So they just keep bringing the hits, Netflix, and I'll keep watching them. So sure, why not?
My news, I guess that we're talked about Crunchyroll, we talked about Netflix. I guess it's my turn. I'll talk about Funimation, be really quick with it. They have recently partnered with the Chinese streaming platform Bilibili, which will kind of allow a lot of the donghua that have been coming out to now move to Funimation. And I think for a long while with Modazushi, with King's Avatar, and a bunch of other shows, and then I've been like, hey, this is really cool, check it out. And it's like, it's hard for us to sell this to the anime crowd if it's harder. Where do I find it? Where do I watch it? And it's not quite what they know. And this coming to Funimation hopefully means that we get the next wave of Chinese animated stuff, which has been astounding in my opinion. I've liked a lot of the stuff coming out of there. The movie Dahufa, Big Fish and Begonia, Fog Hill of Five Elements, like a ton of cool stuff. I know Scissor 7 came to Netflix a year or so ago. So hopefully with their first official show, which is going to be called Heaven's Official Blessing, Chinese animation gets a push out of it. So kind of in response, in a sense, in a cultural shift to the manhwa adaptations, but getting more stuff is interesting and I'm excited for it.
I think it's also interesting they already have plans to dub them in English, which will make them more available to a wider audience of people as well. So yeah, spread the word.
I think it's out currently. I haven't double checked it, but I think the plan was for them to release it.
Interesting.
By time you're hearing this now, so maybe we should go and validate that. But nonetheless, give it a shot. Other bonus quick news is pumpkin carving contest.
Oh my goodness.
It's over. We did it. Hooray. The crowd goes nuts. Want to thank everyone that submitted something through either Facebook or Twitter or Discord as Mandy. I would be remiss if I did not encourage you to seek out Mandy's Hisoka pumpkin. It is very tastefully done. Maybe not tasteful in design, but nonetheless, it is really cool. But
dick light. It has a dick light.
We got so many more submissions this year than last, which filled me with joy, but made it a lot harder to pick a winner. We had so many interesting designs. People used pumpkin seeds as teeth. We had homegrown pumpkins. We had animals. We had ghosts. We had pirates. We had whatever you think Garfield is. We had so many submissions. So for first thing, we decided that everyone who submitted will receive a month or so subscription to our bonus content. So even if you didn't win, you're going to get something out of it. And we had a couple honorable mentions we want to talk about. We have Caliphie, who did a great Dew Skull painting. We had Paburu, who did Luna from Sailor Moon. We had Ahmed Barakat, who did Ryuk from Death Note, which looks super cool. Our runner-up, which will get the second place prize, is Natalie, who did Dimple from Mob Psycho 100, and it's super adorable. And the winner for the incredibly clean artistry, the great design, and the unique and recognizable lighting elements is Sock Creature, who did the Merlin's like squirrel familiar foe from Fate Grand Order. So congrats all who participated. We'll probably post those on social and other stuff so you guys can see them, but they are worth checking out, and you will be contacted with your prizes shortly. So thank you.
Yeah.
Lamborghini.
Yeah, y'all did a wonderful job. Thanks.
You warmed Mason's heart, for real. You did.
Yeah.
Mason's heart grew 3 sizes this day.
Exactly. Now it's almost the size of a normal heart.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for submitting the pumpkins, and again, I hope everybody had a great Halloween and didn't get too drunk or didn't get into trouble. Just had a good time and had some fun with whatever your definition of fun is, and only come. And I hope everybody got a good look at the blue moon, because it's been like maybe it's never happened in our lifetimes, but at least it wasn't until from like the 40s. The last time we had a blue moon on Halloween, I think. So that moon was freaking bright. It was bright as hell. Cool. It was really bright. So, all right, guys. Well, just like you have all contributed to our pumpkin carving contest, we also have contributions from you that have allowed us to play this over-under game. So the over-under game. Do I have like game show music in here somewhere? That's like not too annoying. I wonder if I have game show music in the soundboard. So the over-under game is a game that we played, I don't know, several months ago probably at this point, where we asked you guys to pose some questions for us, and every question finishes with an over-under. So this is basically a game that is derived from sports. People will say, Peyton Manning, over-under 2.5 touchdowns, and then you try to guess if it's over-under, and or over-under combined 50 points for both teams. So somebody will say like, oh, well, how many episodes of the AAA podcast are there? Over-under 550, right? And so, and then the three of us will come in and we'll have to guess whether or not we think that we have over or under 550 podcast episodes, and ultimately it will be under, and then we'll all say under, and then we'll get a point. But, some of the questions obviously will be a lot harder than that, and then, I think we have about 20 questions here, and I encourage everybody at home to play along. We're just playing like tons of games here today, and I'm gonna try. I don't know what the hell I'm doing here on OBS. I was gonna try to put like a sound, like a text block on here, but I also don't know what I'm doing, so that probably won't work. But I will at least keep you abreast of what the score is that we have at any given time. So I'll update you guys every like 5 questions or so. And the answers are not on the document, but I have them hidden in like the original document that all the questions came from, and I will give the answers after we've all have answered. So, are you guys ready? I don't know who won this last time, but Mandy almost always wins every game.
I think it was Mandy.
Mandy
I think
has
ahead pretty quickly and never looked back. So
yeah.
Mandy definitely has a tendency.
I got a lot of Hunter questions last time.
I have purged all Hunter questions. No, I'm just kidding. I haven't, but there'll probably be at least one in here. All right, guys. The first question is from Yotaru Vegeta, and again, thank you to everybody who submitted. What year is Akira set in? Over under 2002. So Akira, the great Katsuhiro Otomo film from the 80s. So over under 2002, the setting for Akira. What do you guys think?
I confidently know this one. I wonder if Yotaru meant to write 2020 to make it more like tricky, but it's definitely over. It's I think 2019.
2019. Mm-hmm.
So I think we're all gonna go over.
I'm not. I think it's
memes last year.
I'm not. I think it's under. I think it's under.
It's 2019.
I think
Gotta be 2019.
Well, that's not what he wrote. Oh, well, he wrote the wrong thing. Okay.
Maybe what year it came out in would be under, but yeah, because it was right before, it was the year before the 2020 Olympics, which is why everyone was going nuts when the 2020 Olympics were going to Tokyo, and they're like, oh, Akira predicted everything because Akira is the truth, and they're not wrong. So.
Well, I thought it was like a long time ago. Like I thought we passed the date quite a while ago. According to the
like
internet,
8 months ago.
according to the internet, it was set in 2019, but Yotaro Vegeta did write 1999 as the answer. So now that we have checked that one.
Incorrect.
Maybe he meant 2020 and was 1 year under. I don't know.
All right.
Either way, Mandy and I get 1 point each.
All right. The people on Twitch are playing along. They're gonna be keeping their own scores, and we'll see how many of them beat us. Gore Grind Goku wrote the second question. In Dr. Stone, how many years was Senku petrified? Over or under 5,000 years. So you'll know that like a comet or whatever flies over the earth and turns everybody into stone, and Dr. Stone, thus the title. So, but how many years was Senku petrified for?
I think it was under that.
I think it was even under 4,000. I thought it was like 3,000.
I thought it was exactly 4,000.
I think it was like 3,700. I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking of like how tall Mount Fuji is. I think it's like. No, it's like 3,000 something.
Mason cheated. He's looking at questions like.
Oh, is there?
I don't.
Oh, there is.
It literally is. No, don't let him weasel his way out of that. He's cheating.
I don't know the answer, but I know that it's under. So I think we all said under.
I'm pretty sure it was 4,000, right?
Yeah, it's 3,715.
It's close.
So. Yeah.
And he counts every minute of it somehow.
Yeah.
Oh my god, very unlikely. All right, great. The next question. Oh, it's a follow-up that's also Dr. Stone. By the Eggman. What year is it when Taiju wakes up in Dr. Stone? Over or under 5,000 AD?
It would have to be over.
It'd be over because
if it started
in 2000,
2020 or
whatever.
What is
it would
it's
have
only
to
over.
be.
Yeah, so let's see. 3,700 plus 2,000.
Max.
Yeah, so it's got to be over. Yeah. So
Okay. We just need some gimme points to make us feel good about ourselves.
let me find this one and see what he wrote. So the answer is, yeah, of course, 5,738 is the answer. So those were all pretty easy. So
Excellent.
all right, so that's the first block, and we're just going to be presenting them in blocks here, and Mandy's going to do the next group here.
Oh, so the next one is from HP. They said, in One Punch Man, how many heroes are in S class? Over or under 15?
Oh my god, it's got to be over.
remember.
It's got to be over.
I think it's over.
It has to be. Because
think,
there are
like-
loads of them, right?
I think like Metal Bat is like 17 or something. Yeah,
17.
it's over. Like he's rated number 17 or something.
Gotcha.
I think I remember some of the characters being not in the
I was
top
like,
15.
I mean, I know anime's tricky, but he looks like he's over 17
Oh yeah,
years
he's
old.
way of the house husband material right there. Yeah, I'm going over.
Yeah, me too.
It's got to be over because I mean, in the second season they spend that like that whole episode talking
There are a
about
lot of them.
yeah. There's over under 15. Apparently there's 17 of them.
Just 17.
Which I actually thought there was more like 30 of them, but I guess there's 17. S
There's
class.
a bunch of A classes in there. I think maybe that's what you're.
So did we all get that one?
I think we all got it.
Was Tank Top an S?
I think
I'm trying to think of all the ones I can think of now.
Well, there's
They're
a
all
bunch of
fucking
tank
S's.
tops.
Oh, there is?
There's a bunch of Tank Top
gang?
clan.
I don't remember. It's been a while since I've seen One Punch Man. The next one is from Outlaw Mazinger, and they say, how many meters tall is Mount Fuji? Over or under 3,750? I don't have a clue.
He always hits us with the Japan geography questions. I think he asked us how many prefectures were in Japan last time.
It's like
Yeah.
49.
Something.
49,
Yeah.
I think.
So
I'm gonna
he's
say
testing.
over because mountains are tall. I don't
I'm
know.
gonna say under because Mount Fuji isn't that tall. And there's always like the scene in anime where they're like, "Oh, have the like Mount Fuji rice special," and they like have the correct number of grains of rice that like build up. I think it's like 3,300.
Yeah, having climbed Mount Fuji, I think it's like 10,000 and change, like 10,400 feet or something. Which
so when you convert that to meters,
3,700 meters is like is over 11,000 feet. So I'm definitely gonna say under. But let's see here. The answer is, apparently it's over. Wow. Oh, I'm double checking that.
I thought I was ready to take a loss off of that. That's funny.
I thought it was under.
Oh no! Wow. I give like this big
mountains are tall.
I give this big explanation about Mount Fuji, and then I'm dead wrong. So Mount Fuji apparently is 12,388 feet. I wonder what I was thinking about. Huh. Well, I'll tell you right now, Mount Fuji's a friggin' cupcake-ass mountain. So if anybody who wants to go climb Mount Fuji, like, there's like 95-year-old women climbing it every year. So go have at it. Wow. Well, we're going to lose again to Mandy in this game. Mandy is unbeatable.
K-Log W, and they say in the 1995 film Ghost in the Shell, what year is it set in? Over or under 2050 or 2050?
Wow.
I know the answer.
I don't, but I'm going to guess under because 2050 is pretty far for a movie that was made in like, the early 90s or whatever.
I want to say under as well, but I have no idea.
Yeah.
I feel like Ghost in the Shell was usually pretty good about its technology, though. So I think let's go under, and that's probably wrong, but I'm sticking to it.
No, it's under. I think it was 2029 for the exact year.
2029 is the answer. But you don't get a bonus point for knowing that. Just so you know.
Well, fine.
All right.
I didn't want your damn point.
All right, so we're done with the first two groups here. Mandy has not missed any question, so she's just flat out overachieving here, making Mason and I look bad. She has 6.
So we are underachieving then.
We're underachieving. Mandy's overachieving. Mandy's overachieving with 6 points, and Mason and Mitsugi are underachieving with 5 and 4 respectively. So we gotta catch up here.
We gotta start bringing out the tough questions. This one comes from Hand Shop, and they say, during the Monster Musume anime, how many monster girls ended up staying at Kimihito's house? Over or under 6?
Oh my God.
So I know nothing about anything regarding this, so I'm gonna say over because, come on, it's Monster Musume. Everything's got to be over 6.
I could name a bunch of them, but then I haven't seen the anime, so for all I know, at the end, like, there could be like a diatribe where he's like, oh, and then 400 more monster girls showed up. So I'm just gonna say over because honestly, I don't think 5 would be under, and that's not enough to satisfy fanboys.
There was Snake Girl, Slime Girl, Spider Girl, Mermaid, Centaur, Harpy.
It's over
and
for sure.
Medullahan, so it's over. It's 7.
Let's see. The answer is, if I can find this one, Monster Musume. The answer is 7. Lamia, Arachnid, Slime, Harpy, Centaur, Mermaid, Dullahan. Again, you don't get points for knowing, but it's very impressive.
It is.
Mandy's like, no one knows more about no one knows ecchi anime like I do.
As much about monster titties as me.
Step off my monster titties. Oh my goodness.
Next question comes from Robert Hunter. Say how
you took out the X.
Yeah, it's Robert X Hunter, but I feel like we've all like learned. Same with like Gore X Grind X Goku. We just grind.
Spy Family.
Yeah, exactly. We know. How many people did Killua? Oh no, it's one of these questions. How many people did Killua knock out to pass his hunter's exam? Over or under 1,200?
That's definitely under. That's a ridiculous number of people. 1,200 people.
So last time we had this, it was like how many people were in like the graduating class with Hisoka, I think, and it was like 1. So I feel like the number was always like, different than what we were expecting. It's
got to be under
0 because he was by himself. So I'm saying over. I don't know why, but I can't imagine that it is. But I always get these questions wrong, so I'm going over because I think it's under.
It's over. I think it was 1,479. I think.
It's over. But you got the number wrong. It's
What was the number?
1,488.
Oh. I was close.
9 off. Still incredibly impressive.
I knew it was a lot because they had them all in that big ass like underground area, and then the guy closed the door. It was like, whoever is still standing gets to pass. It just killer whooped everyone's ass. And poor Zappelli, man. Zappelli came back like, I'm gonna be a hunter. No, he got taken out by Killua in the very first round.
You're such a fake fan for not knowing. You should make Greed Island training cards with all these like rejected like hunter dreamers.
You're right. I should make a Zappelli one and a
1,400 card set.
Tanpa.
Yeah, really.
Mandy, you're getting called out. You're getting called out on Twitch, for not being enough of a Hunter x Hunter fan, for being off by a whopping 9.
Look, whatever.
But a winky
Margin of
face
error.
though. But the emoji makes it all better. So
Exactly. Next test comes from Swellist. In a place further than the universe,
Oh,
Chirasu's
God.
dream is to visit Antarctica. Approximately how far is Antarctica from Tokyo?
oh, for God's
Over
sake,
or under 1,300 kilometers?
13,000.
13,000. Thank you. Sorry. Words, decimals, digits, zeros.
I don't know.
This is just gonna be a guess.
It's got to be.
So-
It's got to be under.
Yeah, probably. I don't.
Antarctica is so freaking huge.
Guys, this hasn't failed me before. Antarctica's far away, so I'm gonna say over.
I'm going under. It's hard because I'm a dumb American and I
don't
don't
know,
know
actually.
kilometers to miles, but I'm gonna say under.
So the United States is like 3,000. Wait, this is kilometers, right?
It is.
Oh, kilometer. You got okay. Wait a second. I got to convert kilometers now because kilometers is a lot smaller than miles.
You
So
do the math.
So 5
So-
kilometers is 3 miles. That's how I think about it
so
in my head.
so 10,000 miles is 6,000. 10,000 kilometers is 6,000 miles, and then so it'd be 1,800. So that's 7,800 miles. So
Welcome to the math cast.
that's like 2.5 of the length of the United States. The United States is pretty long.
I've never heard the
I'll-
United States
Listen.
described as pretty long before.
Well, it's the third largest country in the world. So,
It's a real long boy over here. I'm saying under. I'm sticking to it.
I would say over because it's far.
I don't know.
know.
I don't know. I'm gonna say under. The answer is ultimately gonna be like 5 kilometers over under anyway. So it's, really,
That's a guess.
it's really a push. I guess I'll say under as well. And the answer is, where is it on here? Over.
Oh,
And as I said,
I told you guys.
mountains
13,000
big, Antarctica far. The Mandy motto.
13,175.
That's so funny.
Sigh.
You guys just got to go with your guts.
And confirming,
Mountains tall, Antarctica far.
Exactly.
and I can confirm Google has said that it is over.
That's so funny.
So, although the map of the explanation sure makes it look, they have like the entire Antarctic ice cap, and then like the line goes dead to the middle of it, which was not the question. But
No, we need it to the edge.
that's what I was talking about. It's not that far south of
Listen, let's just
Australia.
give her the point. Let's move on. I'll accept my
This
loss.
is some bullshit. Just kidding. All right, so we're now at the end of the third block. Mandy has still somehow not missed a question. Mason has
Oh,
7.
No. I'm going to argue this. They're probably measuring this going around the curvature of the Earth. No, we're going straight line through this.
Are you looking at the same picture I am?
No, but I just imagined that they're doing that. I'm going to pull out my flat earther card and say it's under and give me the point. I'm kidding. Moving on.
All right. Moving on. Next question. The great comeback. Here it comes. From Cork Mars. How many admirals serve under Reinhard von Lohengram in Legend of the Galactic Heroes? Over or under 17?
There's so many characters in this show. I don't know. Let's
It's
see.
gonna
I
be-
know.
I'm
Oscar.
trying to, like- I'm
There's
trying to imagine
Mittermeier.
every time Reinhard like walks through like the line of them that like for the conferences.
There's Bittenfield. Mueller.
I'm going to say over.
Fahrenheit.
I'm gonna say
I'm
over.
gonna say under because I could only remember 7.
I'm gonna say over because I honestly have no idea.
I think admirals are like too high of a rank, and I'm gonna end up being wrong. But I'm gonna say over.
I'm gonna say under.
The answer is under. It's 16.
How many is it?
How many?
16.
Oh, I can only remember 7.
I'm gonna say they didn't adapt some from the books, and there's more there, and it's gotta be over.
Mason, we're not good at guessing.
No, we're not.
I could
We're not
only
good.
guess like I could only think of like the most popular ones.
Oh wow, this next one is interesting. Gaston writes, "How many arrows does it take Ashitaka to kill the demon-born Nago in the first scene of Princess Mononoke? Over or under
Wasn't
3?"
2?
5 dozen. 5 dozen.
Because doesn't one go in his eye and one goes in his forehead? There is that one part where everybody shoots arrows and he shakes them off. Does that count? That's not Ashitaka.
But that's
though.
not Ashitaka.
I think it was 2. So I'm gonna say under.
I'm gonna say
Pretty
under.
sure, wasn't it his eyeball and his forehead?
I'm gonna say under because I think he spends most of that scene running and not firing arrows at him, and then he shoots a couple as he's coming downhill. So
Did he miss
Yeah,
any?
cool was doing all the running.
Did he miss any shots, and do we count those?
don't know.
I'm
There
gonna say
was the
over.
one shot that took off the dude's head, and the other one that took off the guy's arms.
That was amazing, but that's not the demon port. I'm gonna say over because I need a comeback, and at this point, that's my best strategy.
I'm gonna say under because I'm pretty sure it was 2.
The answer is under. It is 2. So
Once again, I'm gonna argue that his missed arrow should count, but whatever.
They should count.
They should.
Well, he killed a man by taking his head off with an arrow. Just,
It was so clean too.
there's
Yeah.
no way.
just clean off like a dandelion getting popped off.
I love the sound effect too. It's like, phew.
All right, next question. Yotaru Vegeta writes, "A Carol and Tuesday takes place how many years after Mars has been colonized? Over or under 100?"
Oh, I do not know this
I
one.
don't know this at all.
Under YOLO. My voice is
I'm
cracking. Under.
just gonna say over YOLO, just to be different. I honestly don't remember what year it's set in.
For some reason I keep thinking it's 50, but I don't know. It's not. It's an awfully developed world though. If it's only 50 years, they built.
True, but if they have the technology to get to Mars, you would think that they'd have the technology to quickly. But I guess I don't know how much.
I'm gonna say under.
I'm gonna say under.
I'm gonna say over.
Let's see. Where the hell is it? All right. The answer is. Oh my god, I got it. The answer's under. It's 50.
Hey,
Wow.
we finally got one right.
Mandy finally missed one.
Mandy's like, "Oh, that's cute. You got one right."
Yeah.
I do the Kaguya. That's adorable.
All right.
How cute.
Oh, Kawaii, Koto.
All right. So currently, after that block of questions, the score is Mandy has 11, Mason has 8, and Mitsugi has 7, and we have 6 questions remaining. So
There's
really,
a chance.
it's a battle for second place here. So we will see how it goes, and Mandy's going to do the next block for us.
Next one is from Keto U135. If I mispronounced that, I apologize. They ask, how much did Weathering with You make on its second fan preview night? Oh my gosh, on January
God.
16th of 2020. Over or under 1.5 million. I don't have a fucking
Jesus.
clue. That's so specific.
I'm gonna get. So there's a dollar sign there, so it's not yen. So I'm going to say under. Yeah, I'm going under.
On just a fan preview night?
Yeah, did it make
I don't know how to
One
a
night?
billion yen?
I don't know how to define that. So I'm going to say over because it's obviously a noteworthy piece of information that someone's remembering about
Yeah,
it. So I'm going to say over.
Too.
Nobody
I was
would
gonna take a guess at over too, just because it seems like, oh, they'll never get this.
Yeah, it does seem like that. No one's gonna be like say something incredible and be like, nah. How many miles did I run today? Over or under 50? And you're like, wow, he must be wanting to brag.
Must be a good ass runner.
And he's like, no, he ran like
one.
He ran 1 mile. Like,
Did we all
I'm going
say
under though?
okay?
I'm going under.
The answer's under.
Oh shit.
1.45. So he made it a whopping 50,000 under the number. So Mason,
We didn't have a chance anyway.
Mason alone is the winner of that one. Good question.
The next one is from not Justin, who's most definitely Justin. Sorry, I'm just kidding.
You've been found.
You've been found. This one, they ask, in the beginning of The Promised Neverland, how many orphans live in the home together? Over or under 35?
Gotta be under.
I'll tell you how many are living there now.
Yeah, right?
Gotta be under.
Yeah, I'm going under.
That's so many freaking little kids.
I don't have a clue.
Remember, Phil only counts as one.
But Phil could be like 100 kids. I don't know.
Because he's two-faced, doesn't make okay.
I'm gonna say over, because there was so many kids there. I'm trying to. Well, I know for sure at least 5 of them.
She's using the Legend of the Galactic Hero style.
Yeah, and I know
I
5.
only remember 5, so therefore there can't be more than 35.
It can't be.
I'm going under.
I'm gonna say over just to be different, and because there were a lot of kids there.
Apparently it's over. 38 is the number.
38?
38.
Gosh. That's a lot of kids. Look, I remember them having giant breakfasts.
You know,
all I
maybe
can
that's why they
remember.
brought in a second maid. You know, they needed it.
Next one is for Gore Grind Goku, if we're taking out all the X's. And says, in DBZ, what is the power level of the shotgun-wielding farmer who confronts Raditz? Under or over 10?
I love this question. I have no idea what the answer is, but I
don't
like it.
have a clue. I don't know anything about DBZ. I'm so sorry. I'm the worst anime fan.
It'd be funny if his power level like diminished after every shot he took, as he has less and less ammunition. I'm going to say over. Shotguns are serious business. Over.
I'm going to say under.
It's definitely
Just
under.
to be different.
It's definitely under. I believe it's 5 is the answer.
Oh my goodness.
Let me look it up, make sure I'm right. 5 is the answer. As a huge DBZ fan. So Mandy.
He's a farmer. He bales hay. That makes him a strong boy.
Listen, he literally fires a bullet at Raditz. He catches it, flicks the bullet back at him, and kills him with it.
Well, that's
so,
because Raditz is strong.
No, he's not.
Can't-
Raditz was a little
Is
wimp.
he?
No,
I don't know anything
he's
about
not.
DBZ
He
characters.
died in episode 3 of DBZ.
His name is Raditz.
He's the only character in
True.
DBZ that died.
Having
And
a farmer.
He has like a Pokemon, the name of a Pokemon.
he died and no one wished him back, even though he's Goku's brother. So it was pretty rough. All right. Now we are now coming up on the last block of questions here, and currently the score is Mandy has 13, Mason has 9, and I have 8. So we're fighting for
So,
second place here.
Yeah, so first place is confirmed. So let's.
Mandy
plow
wins
through
again.
these.
Let's go through these.
Another one from HP. In Assassination Classroom, how many tentacles does Koro Sensei have?
Christ.
Over or under 4?
Sounds like a tricky question.
gotta be
'Cause
over.
I thought he was an octopus, so I thought for sure it was 8. But now I'm starting to question, like, are they actually, or are they like a tentacle that's split in half?
It's got to be over.
Gotta be over. Maybe he's not always drawn with that many, but
He
like
has a lot of feet,
he can do a lot of stuff.
but I'm afraid there's somewhere in the story that's like, no, they're all just one tentacle. I'm gonna say over, but man, it seems like a trick question.
I
Though.
think we're all going over.
Do the feet count? Are those tentacles? Or are they nubs?
So we're gonna keep that to the hentai episode discussion that we had last week. So
All right, I'll
we're
say
going
over.
The answer's under. It's 2.
What? That's some fake
See,
news.
exactly
Fake
what
news.
I thought.
Some fake news right there.
All right.
I'm not looking
Their
it up.
tentacles split in half, aren't they?
I don't know. It's definitely not enough tentacles to generate any kind of excitement.
I am very excited.
Oh, wow. It doesn't take much. Just 2
another
tentacles.
one from the Eggman. How tall is Hinata at the beginning of Haikyuu? Over or under 160
Uh-oh.
centimeters?
I know the answer to this.
I
one.
actually know the answer to this one because I'm watching season 4 right now.
I know it because I thought,
Because
man,
you're like,
they
that's
keep
me?
saying they keep saying, oh, he's so short, and I'm like,
Okay.
no, he's not. He's taller than I am. Fuck
All right,
that.
all right. So let me go through this real quick here, because you guys know the answer and I don't. So 160 centimeters is, let's see, 2.5 to an inch. So that's 60. So that's 64 inches. It's 5'4".
Mhm.
I'm going to say under because 5'4" isn't that short for a high schooler in Japan. And it wouldn't be very remarkable if he was like 5'7", so that he can like jump way over the net, even though there's no way he could ever in real life. So I'm going to say under.
I think it's over. I think it's over.
Yeah.
I think he's like 164 in season 4, and he's like, wow, I grew like 2 centimeters. So I think he's like 162, 163 maybe at the beginning
let's
of
find
the
out.
series.
Let's find out. The answer's over. 162.
Yeah. I remember looking it up because everyone's like, oh, he is so short. And I looked it up. I'm like, no, he's not. He's taller than I am by at least like 4 inches.
Yeah, I think I was saying I'm watching that like lovely complex show with like the really tall like giraffe girl who's like towering above everyone.
Yeah, I'm
And then
like,
a couple
everyone's
episodes they're
taller
like,
than me.
wow, she's so tall, she's 5'5", and I was like, what? Final question, even though it means nothing. Outlaw Mazinger, how many times did they do the same goddamn summer episode in the Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya? Over or under 7?
Is the answer.
No, I love that. I unironically.
Is it Endless 8?
It's Endless 8, so I'm going to say it.
Love the Endless 8.
It's over. Gotta be over.
Let's just say over. Maybe he's saying, they only redid it 7 times, so it doesn't count.
You know what?
Yeah, over.
Fuck it. I'm saying under. I'm Twist of Fate. Let's go.
What do we got?
Maybe, even though I think it's over, but I'm going to say under just to be funny. It's over. It's 8.
Yeah. Yay, so Mandy wins again.
Mandy wins again. So, to no one's surprise, Mandy is, let's throw some confetti up, even though no one else ever gets to win. We're all sad all the time. Someday I will win. Someday I will win another game when it's a music trivia game.
We'll play more games and give us a chance to have a comeback.
It's all good. All right, guys. Well,
we have a question. Sorry, go ahead.
No, we're going to the news break right now, guys, and then we'll have another game when we come back. Lots of games today.
Well, we've got a question for you while we take our break, and that is, there are 3 anime in the fall 2020 season that are being produced by Production IG. What are those 3 shows? We'll let you know in just a couple minutes.
Hey, Anime Addicts, Mitsugi's here, and I'm bringing you your anime news. Starting off with a new anime announcement, Tokyo Babylon, yet another Clamp property, is getting a TV anime adaptation in 2021. So for those of you that are fans of Tokyo Babylon, you won't have to wait long. It's going to be produced by Go Hands. So Clamp serialized this fantasy shoujo manga in various magazines between 1990 and 1993. So been a long while since this thing first was created, but it's going to be getting an anime adaptation coming up, so get excited. And probably the biggest anime announcement this past week was that Kaguya-sama Love is War is getting a 3rd anime season and also an OVA, both coming out in 2021. So this is pretty exciting for fans of the manga property that has 13 million copies in print currently in circulation. So the first season aired in the winter of 2019. And also, there was also a recent season which came out not long ago as well of Kaguya-sama Love is War. So if you're a fan of this property, as many of us are, including our podcast hosts, you'll be getting more of this coming up before long. Next up, Jujutsu Kaisen, the anime property that is sweeping the fall 2020 season as a fan favorite, has now over 10 million copies in circulation of its manga. So this announced via the Twitter account for Jujutsu Kaisen. So the property launched the manga in Shueisha's Weekly Shonen Jump magazine back in 2018. So pretty quick amount of time to reach 10 million copies in print. And if you're a fan of this manga, remember there is the anime right now in the fall season, so you can check that out and enjoy both of those versions of this property. Next up, PlayStation 4 has announced its results for the past quarter, and they shipped 1.5 million copies in the last quarter, bringing the total units sold for the PlayStation 4 to 113.8 million units, which really wouldn't normally be any amount of news, except that brings it easily within striking distance of both the Game Boy and the Game Boy Color. so which would make it essentially the second or third highest selling game system ever, only behind the PlayStation 2 and then arguably the Nintendo DS family, although the family of DSs is like 4 different consoles. But we'll have to see how much further the PlayStation 4 can make it up the ladder here as time passes. And next up, in some sad news, it has video gamers very angry, including some threats, I guess, that were made to various creators of the game. Cyberpunk 2077 is delayed again. Yes, again. But only for 21 days. So it's been delayed from the 19th of November back to December 10th. Of course, the producer and developer CD Projekt Red said that the reason was the processing of testing 9 different versions of the sci-fi game while working from home. So I guess it's just been a lot of effort trying to get all this done while working from home. So basically, you can blame it on COVID. The game launches in the next generation on PlayStation 5, and it's also going to be on the Xbox Series X and S. So you won't have to wait too much longer, and maybe some of us like myself will be able to work even further through our backlogs because of the delay. This was Mitsugi, and this was your anime news break. And now, as always, time to get back to the podcast. Anime Addicts, as you know, this podcast recently became independently funded, and we are attempting to continue on funding this podcast with the help of so many of our listeners without having to play annoying commercials for underwear and razors and cat food and all kinds of other things that bore you and make your listening experience not quite what it could be. And if you go over to our website, aapodcast.com/join, you can sign up. You can also do so on Patreon. And when you do, you'll get our hentai episodes, our hobby addicts, and our after parties. 8 total episodes of our podcast per month just for you, just for saying a little thank you for supporting the podcast, because we do appreciate it so much. You can also go to our website, aapodcast.com, simply across the top and click the donate button. If you don't really want to sign up, you can just throw us a couple bucks, help us out. And if you don't have any money to throw our way, hey, we still love you. We hope you keep listening. We appreciate all of our listeners, and we love doing this podcast for you so much, as we have for over 11 years now. So hopefully we'll have another 11 years to come. I love you all so much. Again, if you want to help out the podcast, you can go to aapodcast.com/join or Patreon.
Hi there, my name is Spike Spencer. I'm the voice of Shinji Ikari and many other crazy bastards. And I am an anime addict.
And now, great moments in Anime Addicts Anonymous history.
If the three of us are like horses pulling like a wagon, and the wagon is this podcast, written on the side of the wagon it says, watching anime, okay? And there's like these 2 badass fucking stallions that are Mandy and Mason, and they're in the front, and they're all like, I'm pulling this cart because I'm a horse. And that's what I do. Oh, and give me a carrot. And then Mitz is like crippled. They thought about shooting me like the day before, but they're like, you know what?
We ate you.
He can still fucking try, but in reality, like along the way, I fell, and I'm just being dragged behind the 2 stallions. And at the end of the day, they're gonna shoot me and they're gonna eat me, because this is the fucking Oregon Trail, and that's how things happen. So I don't know.
Oh shit, we all have dysentery.
I don't know what to tell you.
So since you mentioned Castlevania is great. That would be a great thing to watch on Friday, and I watched the whole thing one day.
It is great. Why do you have to tramp your carrot munching, shiny coated?
We have to cut you loose. We've been dragging you dead weight for so long. We have to just cut you loose.
And he's like, look at my mane, the mane and the tail.
Yeah.
They even named a shampoo after it. And then and Mitz is like, dead, and there's flies, there's flies everywhere. It's all the humanity. And we're back to the podcast. Welcome back. There are 3 anime in the fall 2020 season being produced by Production IG. Dori desu ka? The answer is Haikyuu to the top, season 2, Noblesse, and Yukoku no Moriarty. So, and if you got that right, congratulations. That means you are a big nerd. So
I think I may have forgotten to mute myself during that break, so
Did
if you heard me moving, I apologize.
It was the
Nerd alert!
the cat.
I was just looking at it. I was like, oh, I have to unmute. Oh, it's already off mute. Probably just heard me go to the kitchen. I do apologize.
All right, well, we are going to play some Does Mitsugi's Mom Know now? It had been a while, and I don't have a lot of questions prepared for this game, but I have enough questions to do one game with all of you. And so we are going to play some Does Mitsugi's Mom Know right now. It's time for Does Mitsugi's Mom Know? The game show that pits Mitsugi's unassuming mother against anime's most basic questions. Now here are your hosts, the Anime Addicts! Whoa! It's time for Does Mitsugi's Mom Know? We're joined on the phone by MHA Nate. 1986.
What's going on?
Not much. Where are you calling from, my dear friend?
Paw Paw, Illinois.
All right. Well, are you ready to be the latest victim of my mother in Does Mitsugi's Mom Know, a game that no one can win?
I don't know about victim, but we'll see.
Ooh, bold. I like it.
Man, okay.
It's got those Illinois vibes. I'm feeling it.
All right. Well, so most people know how to play Does Mitsugi's Mom Know by now. I don't have a sample question prepared, so I'll just explain the rules for everybody at home. My mother, she knows some things about anime, enough to be dangerous, but not enough to really be an anime aficionado. So I've asked her some very easy questions about anime, and your job is to guess whether or not she knows the answer to the questions. Pretty simple. There are 5 questions, and in order to win the game, you must get 3 correct out of 5. So somehow people don't win. This game is not won very often, so we probably have a 20% win rate at this point.
They can't all be Mandy with those guessing skills.
Well,
Wait,
fair enough.
about? I didn't guess. I knew the answers to all of those.
We're taking Mandy to Vegas. All right. MHA Nate, are you ready to play Does Mitsugi's Mom Know?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. Let's see if I can get her on the phone here.
Hello.
All right. So she's on the phone.
Good luck, lucky player. With me, it's you never know.
All right. Let's see. All right. Let's have question 1 here for you. Dragon Quest has a specific type of character design for its characters. What famous anime has its characters designed by the same person? So
I'm going to say she doesn't know.
She does not know that Dragon Quest is done by Akira Toriyama, who also did Dragon Ball.
Right.
Okay. All right, and I think we'll let you phone a friend here. If you want to ask someone else one of these somewhere along the way, Nate, you can feel free. So shall I lock you in on she does not know? She doesn't know a whole lot about Dragon Quest.
Yes, lock me in for she doesn't.
All right, I'm going to hope the best for you. Dragon Quest has a specific type of character design for its characters. What famous anime has its characters designed by the same person?
I'd have to say, let me think. Dragon Ball Z.
That's right.
Wow.
Good job.
Oh,
No!
Wow.
His name's Akira Toriyama, and he did the story and the character designs for Dragon Ball Z. Oh my gosh. Nate, you're down, but you're not out, bud. So
That's all right.
she just guessed, because they have this.
Her dragon and
Yeah. She doesn't even know what Dragon Quest is. I'm pretty sure. So. All right, but I have faith. Are you ready for the second question?
Yes. Excuse me.
We're getting some love here from the Twitch chat, and they can't believe she knew the answer either, so you're not alone. Here is the second question. In One Piece, what kind of ocean-faring occupation does Luffy have? The whole world knows it's a pirate, but does my mother know it's a pirate?
I'm going to say she doesn't.
My mother does not know a whole lot about One Piece. Am I locking you in?
Yes.
King of the Pirates, Luffy. Let's see what she says. In One Piece, What kind of ocean-faring occupation does Luffy have?
She's a shrimper.
A shrimper?
Yeah.
Bubba Gump?
I thought she said a stripper.
Bubba Gump.
No, sorry. Luffy is the leader of the Straw Hat Pirates.
Oh, okay.
But it was a good guess.
This is the best segment of all time.
Oh my gosh! All right, Nate. All right, we got a correct answer here. You're back in the hunt. Okay, we're gonna forget all about that first question. You know, everyone makes mistakes. Now we're just gonna clean slate. You got to get 2 out of 3. How are you feeling at this point?
Pretty good.
You think you're gonna win this game?
Maybe.
You want to make a side bet on it?
No, I'm good.
No, just kidding. All right, so all right, question 3. Are you ready? You have beads of sweat on your forehead?
No, I don't, but I'm
Oh,
ready.
shit. Ice water in his veins.
Confident.
All right, here we go. Question 3. Name one Studio Ghibli film not directed by Hayao Miyazaki. She's seen most of the Ghibli movies, but sometimes, you know, that just doesn't mean anything. I don't know. She's crazy. Who knows?
I'm going to say she does know.
All right, so she can name one Ghibli movie done by Miyazaki.
Yes.
I thought it was. Wait, sorry.
Wait.
Not done by Miyazaki, right? Did I mishear the question?
The question the question was name one Miyazaki film not done by Miyazaki.
Yeah, one Ghibli film that Miyazaki has not done. So she needs to name a film that Takahata. Or side question: what if it's Goro?
No, it's Miyazaki. I think the question. You know what? Name one Studio Ghibli film not directed by Hayao Miyazaki.
Okay.
There you go. All right.
Thank you.
So, Nate, are you saying she does not? She knows or she does not know a film not done by him?
I'm going to say she does know.
Okay, so she can name My Neighbor the Yamadas or Pompoko or any of the others. All right.
Yeah.
Am I locking you in?
Yes.
Sorry for the confusion. Name
That's okay.
one Studio Ghibli film not directed by Hayao Miyazaki.
It's something family, but I can't think of the name of the family. No. Children of the Whale.
I don't think there's a Ghibli movie with the word whale in the name.
Children of the Whales. I mean, that is an anime.
It is.
Wrong.
And it is pretty. It's almost Ghibli-esque.
I'm gonna be honest, Nate. I don't even know where she pulled Children of the Whales from, but that was an unfortunate miss.
I think she was leaning towards the Yamadas.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I think so as well. Your back's against the wall, but you know, big comebacks require, you know, dire situations. And if you wanna have that fairy tale ending, you just gotta put yourself in this situation. Are you ready for question 4?
Yes.
Let's bring the heat. Mamoru Hosoda is about to come out with another film. We mentioned them earlier in this podcast, but can you name one of Hosoda's other movies? One Hosoda film.
I'm going to say she doesn't know.
Yeah, that would be Wolf Children, Summer Wars, Girl Up Through Time, etc., etc. So she does not know.
Correct.
Mamoru Hosoda is about to come out with another film. We mentioned them earlier in this podcast, but can you name one of Hosoda's other movies?
Attack of the Titans.
I think you mean Attack on Titan.
Yeah, Attack on Titan.
Well, we all know that's not
Isn't
right.
that like the actual translation that it should be? Is Attack of the Titans?
Oh, I have no idea.
Shingeki no Kyojin. I thought that's what it was supposed to be.
I think it would be the Titans attack or something like that. I don't know, whatever.
The attack
It's
of
still
the
really
Titans.
funny.
Yeah.
Well, you know, Nate, it always comes down to the final question in this game. I don't know why, but that's just how things go. Now, do you have beads of sweat on your forehead? Are you feeling a little? You still doing okay?
Yep.
All right, towel off if you need to. You ready for question 5?
Yes.
And here it goes. In the anime GTO, what does the O stand for?
I'm
the
gonna
pressure.
Say she does know because you do talk about that show quite a bit.
Mm-hmm. That'd be my thought too.
I'm just gonna let the pressure play. So much intensity. The crowd.
Yeah, there's so much at stake.
So much riding on this. The fate of the world.
It's a matter of pride. Nate could join the elite few who have
True.
overcome this just anarchy, this chaos, just this being.
This tyranny. My mother's tyranny over anime. All right.
I say, excuse me. I say lock it in. She knows it.
Oh, he's all
He's
right.
got this.
In the anime GTO, what does the O stand for?
Onizuka.
Oh, wow. Good job.
Great teacher, Onizuka. That's right.
Oh, now she's.
And he wears
flexing.
a garlic necklace sometimes.
He does.
I know, I made you one.
Congrats!
Nate, you have done the impossible. You have risen up where so many have failed. You stand on a body of corpses, but that's okay because you yourself have won a fantastic prize, and I will reach out to you after the podcast and discuss that with you. So,
All right.
and my friend, thanks so much for playing Does Mitsugi's Mom Know? An insurmountable challenge, and we will have more to come sometime at a later date. So, thanks for playing, Nate.
Yeah, thank you.
Have a good one.
You know, a tough game, but in the end, you know, good conquers evil. And my mother, well, she's a tough one.
If she had not gotten Onizuka, I would have questioned if she even loved you.
Oh my,
yeah.
wow. Holy
But
goodness
clearly,
gracious.
clearly the love is there. So
Okay. She did make me a garlic necklace once for a cosplay.
That's really cute.
Yeah, we varnished it. It was real garlic. So it smelled like hell. All right, so let's do some mailbags, guys, and keep this rolling.
It's time for an almighty anime mailbag. Anime.
Mailbag.
If you'd like to send us a mailbag question, you can go to AAApodcast.com, click the mailbag button, and send in any question that you have. This one is from Yotaru Vegeta, and they say, "Hello, mature AAA hosts." Well, thank you.
I don't know who you're talking about. It's not me.
Sometimes. Who is your favorite adult version of a character? For me, I'm kind of cheating because we haven't seen him in the anime yet, but Thorfinn from Vinland Saga for sure is my favorite because like we haven't seen him as an adult in the anime yet. He's still kind of like in his teenager phase, but man, he has such a great character progression. I love he goes from like these very, 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 very mild spoilers. Spoiler: Thorfinn doesn't die for a while. The main character, but he goes from like this very edgy young teen into like a very mature, handsome man, and I love it. I love his transformation. It's great.
So I just stick with Dragon Ball since I assume Yotaru Vegeta likes Dragon Ball. Probably Trunks. I think Trunks is pretty annoying as a kid in the show, but as an adult, he's pretty great. He's got a cool design. He fights with a sword. He's got pretty cool Super Saiyan hair, you know, and I think that the history of Trunks is probably the best thing that ever came out of Dragon Ball, and just every time that future Trunks shows up in the show, it makes the show a whole hell of a lot better. So I'm gonna go with Trunks.
yeah, future Trunks is pretty great. I went with Simon from Gurren Lagann. He's not like as bad of a kid as like Thorfinn is, with just like yelling all the time. But nonetheless, after he hits puberty, absolute legend, galactic superhero. So big fan of Simon, and that's kind of what the whole show is about, him being a better adult. So yeah.
All right. Thanks
And
for the
with
mailbag.
Yeah, thanks. And we are in our final part of the podcast, which is the third round of impressions, where we watch the first 3 episodes or so of all these newly airing shows, give our thoughts on them, and each of us has 2 locks that we've each used one currently. Mitz passed Dragon Quest, Mandy passed Akudama Drive, and I passed Jujutsu Kaisen. Stuttering over here. Nonetheless,
Duel time.
duel. yeah, so we're just going to run through this next batch of shows. Let you guys know what we are passing or not. And remember that at the end of the impressions next week, which is the final round, you guys will have the chance to vote on the final 3 positions. So I think we just need to jump right into it.
Today, we're going to be doing impressions.
Impression time, believe it!
All right. Noblesse is my next selection by Production IG. It's streaming on Crunchyroll if you want to watch Noblesse. And done by director Shunsuke Tada, who I've heard this name before, who has done, let's see. He was the director on the new installments of Legend of the Galactic Heroes. So that should ring a couple bells. Again, also Kuroko no Basket, Kuroko no Basket Season 2. Some good stuff here. So, Noblesse. So, what the hell is Noblesse about? So, honestly, I have no idea. There's some guy wakes up from apparently I'd look up the number of years, but they say an 820-year slumber, which is pretty long. And the show starts off with like a military operation going underway that you don't really know anything about, but I think it's called the Union is the name of the organization, and it almost felt like watching the bad guy from Full Metal Panic, kind of like a guerrilla military unit sort of. But the show quickly pivots to high school life, I think I would say, where all these guys are in high school, and there's a bunch of like sort of Yankee-looking guys, and in the school, and there's a guy who has white hair who's like a guard for the school, and essentially what happens is that like all these sort of like noblesse characters, which are pure-blooded nobles, they all start gathering at the school and getting into trouble, and the Union military organization pops up from time to time and tries to abduct them or cause trouble or whatever. But ultimately, this whole show is just like a big excuse to have pretty boys in a school like eating noodles all the time. And the show, if it sounds like I don't know what this show's about, it's because not much happens in this anime, and the plot line is considerably incoherent. Like, it's just not told well. Basically, like, the first episode is this red-haired dude whose name I don't even remember is getting into trouble because he hit on like some thug guy's girlfriend, and the thug guy shows up and starts fighting him, and the red-haired guy's got a broken arm, so he's like trying to fight back, but he can't. And then the noble guy who's the guard at the school shows up and beats his ass, and you find out that like the nobles can't help but like act when they see someone weaker and trouble, and so that kind of explains that. And a lot of the guys in the show really resemble vampires, even though they're not. They've got like really pale skin, red eyes. They kind of have that sort of vibe about them, but really they just have like special powers that give them, I guess, like control over people. I don't fucking know. But ultimately, this show was like borderline probably horrible. Like it was really bad. Like I don't know. Like I guess someone, I think this is based on a manhwa. But this,
it is.
Obviously, I haven't read the source material, but this anime, whether the source material is good or not, I figure anything that gets an anime adaptation must have at least somewhat of a fan base or be good in order to have an anime adaptation in the first place. But this must not be adapted very well because it's just another one of those like Crunchyroll original shows that, again, just doesn't seem to really hit the mark very well. And like there's a couple decent action scenes, but other than that, there's just really nothing here for me personally. If you like this show, that's cool. Maybe it'll go somewhere, but I only get 3 episodes to make a judgment call, and it's pretty easy to say at this point that this one's not going to get locked in. And so much fucking two-toned hair. Like, God, like the characters in this remind me of like the characters from Amnesia. They're all like these pretty guys who like prance around, and they have like hair that looks like they ran out of hair dye halfway through. Like they started and they were like, oh shit, like, oh, my hair was blonde and I was dyeing it orange, and now my hair is like half orange, half blonde, but rather than doing streaks, I just like dipped my hair into like a bat of orange Kool-Aid, and then I was like, fuck, I ran out of Kool-Aid. It looks horrible. No. Mm-mm. And no one's gonna complain because I don't think no one. Yeah, no. Moving on.
My show is my number 3 pick, which is Iwakakeru, Sport Climbing Girls. This is based on a web manga. It's done by Studio Blade, and you can watch it over on Crunchyroll. And it is just a story of Konomi Kasahara, who joins the rock climbing club of her high school, despite never really doing it before. She's really into puzzle games and stuff like that, and found an interest in climbing one day and joins them. And this is essentially a budget version of How Heavy Are the Dumbbells You Lift. It's not quite as humorous. The budget for the actual animation is not that solid. There's a lot of moments where someone will be climbing, a wall, and they will show the people watching the person climbing, and they will be talking about how graceful that person is climbing, but not actually show you how graceful or show the person climbing. It's just not. It's kind of cutting costs at all corners. There is a bit of fan service in the show, which is not out of place because there's kind of only so many angles that you can show people climbing, but nonetheless, it's not really welcome in the way that they do it. The characters are kind of bland. They don't have the charm. There's nothing that draws you into them. And especially when a lot of the other shows this season are really nailing the character component of it, this feels even flatter. The fill-ins are kind of shallow, and there's just not a lot of substance to it. Like, I like how quickly the show jumps to the climbing element. It gets all the climbing terminology correct about the different maneuvers, about what you call sending it, or this or that. So it doesn't do anything wrong from a climbing perspective, but there's just not a ton of substance, and it's kind of just an easy it's going to be for a very few people. So I will not be locking the show, to no one's surprise.
This one might be one that comes back though, since we're having three anime picked by the fans, and I think this one is, I don't know.
I can check. I don't think that many people are sticking with it.
I don't think so.
Is it really not that good? I mean, it seems
it's really not. I mean, it
has like a 5, so
it's a 5, and it's getting substantially lower numbers than.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like got half the views of like Nana or Moriarty or I'm trying to think of other shows that we have.
Inuyasha.
Yeah, so or
Yashahime, sorry.
There's just a very small people who are probably going to be into this show.
That's sad.
And it's just, I was really hoping for it to be good. I really wanted this to be a great climbing show, and there's just nothing to it.
All right, well, there it is.
Is Ikebukuro Westgate Park. It's being adapted by Doga Kobo, and you can watch it on Funimation. And this one was originally a novel. I believe it also has a manga, but I believe this is based off of it's an adaptation of the novel. But basically, this is set in Ikebukuro, and it definitely does have a bit of a Durarara feel to it. In the Ikebukuro, there are multiple gangs, and this follows, he's kind of a main character, but it's kind of hard to tell because it doesn't really focus that hard on him. Makoto, who is not technically part of the lead gang, the G-Boys, and but he is like friends with their leader, and basically they just police Ikebukuro and try to kick out people who are being problems. So the first episode, which was really a big turnoff for me, because the whole episode was kind of like Dare the anime. It was all about like, drugs are the enemies of the G-Boys, and there's this drug trade going on in this building called the Smoke Tower, I believe that's what they're calling it. And the whole episode is about the G-Boys trying to bring them down, and they actually plant drugs in there and call the cops to get them to arrest them. And I'm like, that's awful. Like, when you go in there, it's just weed. And I'm like, this is super off-putting. It just seemed really preachy, the first episode, so it's already like a disappointment for me. And then like the second episode, they're bringing down like these people who are treating their employees awful. and like having their employees call themselves over like just minimum wage. And then the third episode is all about YouTubers, and which is really weird. That episode, there's this guy who's really big on, I guess, like a version of TikTok, where he just eats onions, like whole onions in places, but he ends up getting into like an internet war with another streamer, and they start threatening him, and the G Boys are like just trying to help the onion guy out. It was really weird. It's a really weird episode. But yeah, it has a bit of that Dorada feel to it. The problem is the dollars were actually, I thought, were really interesting in Dorada. And the dollars were like, you never knew how many people were in that gang because it was mostly an internet gang and they were all over the place. And that's why that whole scene with Namie where Mikado, I'm the only reason I'm comparing these is because it's being compared online to Dorada. They're like, this is, basically like Dorada is really not. But, like the dollars, like when he like confronts Namie, the cool thing was that all of a sudden you realize how large this gang was, that normal people were in it. They weren't like, they were all hidden, and that made them so threatening. But in this, I don't know. It seems like they throw you in it so fast that I don't really care about any of the characters. Like, I don't know anything about them. It didn't take any time to introduce them. It's not like we have really fascinating characters right away, like Izaya or Shizuo, which from, in my opinion, carried the entirety of Dorada. It's just, I don't know. There's just nothing that I don't really care about any of them. The main character, Makoto, walks around with a sweater every single episode, says smoke kills. It feels like a very preachy anime.
Smoke kills.
I'm not really into. Like, the first episode was really off-putting for me. I mean, overall, it looks fine. It's, if you like anime that have very, very pretty boys, they're in here. So this could be for you if you don't really care about the rest of it and you just like want, very attractive characters. For sure, this has that. It's not terrible. It's just fine, but I'm not really into it, and I just don't see any reason to do a review of this. But it's out there if you're interested. If that sounded like something you're interested in,
the difference is that the dollars are called the dollars, and these guys are called the G Boys.
The G Boys.
And if you're fine with something called the G Boys, and you just want pretty guys, go watch Hypnosis Mike instead, because at least that show is fun and is like super visually interesting.
I've heard such trash things about this show.
It is trash. We've been watching it, or I've joined a couple like watch parties in our Discord, and they're having fun with it.
I've heard it's really funny, like in a very trashy way. But it's fine if it's something that you're interested in. But I don't want to put a lock in on it though.
All right, no lock for Westgate Park. I'm gonna pull an audible and change my impression. So I am going to do Our Last Crusade or The Rise of a New World instead of Higurashi. So pulling an audible. Don't be too surprised. So Our Last Crusade or The Rise of a New World, otherwise having an extremely long Japanese title, Kimi to Boku no Saigo no Senjo Arue wa Sekai ga Hajimaru Seisen. Very long title. Done by Studio Silverlink, or who did Bofuri, which Bofuri, we just covered that like a couple seasons ago, and it was really good. Kokoro Connect, Chivalry of a Failed Knight. Silverlink's done a lot of stuff. I think they're one of the more prevalent studios at this point. They've got a lot of anime that have been watched by a lot of people. So most people have seen something that Silverlink's done, and you can watch this one on Funimation. So let's see. I don't want this to go too long. The Our Last Crusade or The Rise of a New World starts off with a character whose name is I'm so bad with names. He let's see. Well, I can't remember his name. He's like a knight and he's in prison. So that's where the Iska, I think, is his name. And Iska starts in jail, and he was imprisoned by the kingdom that he's from because he was releasing a witch, I guess, from the other kingdom that they're at war with. So there's two wars in this show, and the two kingdoms have been at war for a long time. And one of them is predominantly a kingdom of witches, which is mostly magic users. And Iska doesn't want the war to go on indefinitely, so he's trying to end the war. And they reveal, like in episode 2 or 3, that his motivation for trying to release this witch from prison was that he wanted to use her as a bargaining chip to try to end the war by negotiating with the other kingdom. And he gets caught and he gets put in jail. Well, the situation with the war hasn't gone all that well, and Iska was part of a group of knights that was like elite and basically bred to fight the witches in combat. And because the witches are kicking their ass, I guess is how I interpreted it, they release him under the condition that he's able to apprehend they call her the Calamity Ice Witch. So there's this girl in the show whose name is Alice. Her name's very long, but I'll just shorten it to Alice. And she's like this mad hot, just like smoking hot anime character girl who is a princess of the other kingdom, of the kingdom of magic, and he's supposed to apprehend her. And basically what happens is there's some pretty badass fight scenes where they go off to war and try to capture her, and Iska and Alice come to a stalemate in the battlefield, and they go their separate ways. Like he's not able to apprehend her, but he is able to fend her off, but like that's not really what the agreement was. They wanted to capture her. They don't really care like what kind of catastrophe she causes. Well, in episode 2 is the section of the show where I think most people probably turned it off, honestly, because it gets a little cheesy, romancy in episode 2. There's a neutral city in the show where both Alice and Iska end up going by coincidence because they're trying to like unwind from their situation. Very stressful, and they both decide independently that they're going to go to like this, for lack of a better word, like a Broadway show, sort of. So it's like a play or whatever. And Alice is like sobbing because it's like this story about a knight who can't be with this princess or whatever because of their situation, and she's crying and oh my god, so dramatic. And Iska happens to be sitting behind her, and not knowing, he offers her his handkerchief, and the two like form like this almost like Romeo and Juliet type bond where they end up like leaving the show separately and ending up at the same restaurant afterwards by coincidence. They order the same food. It gets a little cheesy there for about 5 minutes, and they go back to the city like later in that episode, and they run into each other again, and they're kind of like starstruck and just can't like get away from each other. Ultimately, what happens in episode 3 is that Alice ends up asking Iska if he wants to defect to the other kingdom and help her end the war, and because they know that they both have a shared goal of ending the war. And there's obviously like some romance going on here at this point. Well, meanwhile, when Iska was released to take down Alice in episode 1, he was given some weapons that are like magical, and that allow him to basically combat the witches. And there's an entity that's been like sealed away that founded the kingdom of magic called the Founder. And she like comes out of the sky while the two of them are negotiating about defecting or whatever, and decides that he needs to be destroyed because the magical weapons shouldn't be allowed to exist in the world. And like this fucking like 10-minute battle takes place where the two of them kind of team up to face this like entity that apparently like no one should be able to fight. And honestly, like I was pretty impressed by the action in the show. So like don't expect like Attack on Titan level action. I don't really think that you're not going to get that very often, but compared to most shows that I've seen where people are fighting with magic and swords, this one is a lot more impressive than most. There's like scenes, in that section of the show, in that battle in episode 3, there's a scene where like he's running at the entity girl who's floating in the air with his sword, and she makes like a staircase out of ice, and he's like running up the staircase and then like dives at her, and like they're working together using the magic and the weapons in tandem, and it's just pretty compelling action both in the first episode and in the third episode. And you get a lot of like magic using, summoning of golems and familiars, all kinds of elemental magic, pretty good sword play. And honestly, I actually really like this anime, and I think it's probably the best show that I picked out of the 6.
Wow.
A little surprised to see the not so enthusiastic reviews online for it. It is one of the more highly watched shows of the season in terms of just volume of people. But if you can get past that second episode and get to the third episode, you would see that the show has a lot of really promising action in it. And I'm pretty interested to see how where the story's going, because unlike my other potential past anime that I could be locking in, this one is not as predictable as the others. And so I'm going to lock in Our Last Crusade or A Rise of a New World simply because I want to see where it's going, and I think the action in it is really compelling. So I'm going to lock this one in.
You better lock it up. You lock it up. You lock it up. Lock it up.
I really like it.
Lock their pour.
Yeah, I would recommend this to people who like action shows. It's for people who like magic, and even for people who like romance. Like, I think it has a little bit of something for everybody. I don't think that the overarching story is very unique and that it's two kingdoms at war, but I think that I'm interested to see how they arrive at the resolution. So,
cool.
Locking that one in.
Excellent. My next show is Taisou Zamurai, or Gymnastics Samurai, and this essentially is a story of a kind of aging Japanese gymnast called Shotaro Aragaki, who has kind of done gymnastics his whole life. And his coach is like, hey, you're kind of getting up there in age. The youth are kind of getting better than you. You're kind of starting to fade. You should probably retire. And he's like, yeah, I probably should. And he thinks about it. At the episode 1, he's like, nah, I'm not going to retire. I'm going to give it one last shot. Do it for a daughter. Do it for my family. Be the symbol that I know it can be, and really give it my all and kind of put myself back on the map. So it's kind of the journey, his journey of kind of coming back into the limelight and rediscovering his gymnastic talents. So from a sports aspect, all we've gotten so far is some moderate amounts of training and some very cartoony parkour. And I think eventually down the line, we're going to get some impressive, performances of, the high bar routine that seems to be an expert at, but we really haven't got a ton of that so far. So we'll see. I really haven't been inspired to, do gymnastics in the same way that the rock climbing show made me want to go climb, which I think is kind of important, at least for me personally, when looking at a sports show. But the big problem with the show for me is the characters. It has so many of these quote unquote wacky characters with really poor designs. But if you look at shows like Saritama, Run with the Wind, Yuri on Ice, or Hidoro, all those have wacky characters that are just full of life, and none of the characters in this show really land. You have Rei, which is an impossibly sweet daughter who is precious, but besides that, you get characters like Big Bird, which is just this impossibly annoying pet is just a bricked attempt at humor that never lands. The show constantly struggles with making this weird pet seem funny and fitting, and it just does never work for me, and it just bothers me constantly, and I dislike it strongly.
Is he yellow?
He's this big green tropical toucan that just quips with zany sound effects, and it's just I don't know, it just doesn't play to my palate.
Zany seldom resonates with me.
It's strange, and I mean, I wanted this show to kind of be, and it's not even close, and maybe it's unfair to compare them, but to Yuri on Ice, another MAPPA show from original MAPPA show from a few years back, and they have both sports, gymnasts and figure skating have a very similar performative aspect. And Yuri on Ice immediately demonstrated the beauty of that, and kind of brought in viewers to the world of the behind the scenes dynamics of figure skating and what it's like, and built a huge fan base for the show and the sport around it. Whereas Taisou Zamurai, on the other hand, because it has all these stiff, stale characters, no one, I think, will really want to care about them, and maybe just will watch for the sake of a competition or tournament arc. But I guess that's not enough to justify the 10 plus episodes just to get to the end performance. So a lot of people have been vibing with the show, and I can understand that, but it's just not to my palate. The OP doesn't work for me, and it's kind of is a representative of the show itself. It's gaudy and dull at the same time, and it's just, I don't know. I can see why people like it, but I don't know. If enough people like it, I guess vote in the poll, because it's not going to get a pass for me. It just, I don't know. It just didn't season right to my taste, so it's a shame.
It's just not seasoned right.
Mandy is on mute, so I cannot hear her quips.
You are correct. I said, "Oh, that's sad," because I thought that one was actually going to be pretty good, but I feel less inclined to watch it now.
Moments of it certainly work, and Ray is a great daughter, but it just didn't stick the landing.
I mean, that's unfortunate for a gymnastic samurai.
Yes.
My last show for today is I'm Standing on a Million Lives. It's being adapted by Maho Film, and it is streaming on Crunchyroll. And this is based off of a manga. And I was going to do the manga for a Manga Minute a while ago, and I never really got around to it, so oh well. But this one is an isekai. And this boy named Yusuke, he just moved to Tokyo. He's a little bit bitter about moving to Tokyo, and so he just spends all of his time playing video games in the dark. And then one day he is isekai'd to a different world, and he meets these two ladies named Kusue, and I think the other one is Iu. I can't remember her name. I think it's Shindo, but I think her name is Iu Shindo, I believe. But then this being comes in front of him, just known as the Game Master. And he's sort of like a naked mannequin style with half a head. Yeah, he has like handprints on like his chest and like a leaf around like his bits. It's really weird. And honestly, I think he's the best part of the show because he's been cracking me up. But he wants them to take part in this isekai fantasy world, and these three are going to be a team, like they're like the party, and for all of them to have their class assigned to them, because this isekai world is basically a video game, which is why he's super excited. Like, yeah, I get to escape this world that I hate and go into a video game world. So the game master spins like this sort of like what do you call it? Like a Price is Right kind of wheel.
It's like a roulette.
Oh shit.
Yeah, like a roulette wheel, and it will decide for them what class they get. And so one of the girls gets like a warrior, and the other one gets like a magician. But when it comes to him, like this little tiny little sliver on the wheel is what he gets. You think, oh, isekai protagonist, he's gonna be super overpowered. No, it's a farmer. So now he's a farmer.
What? Why is the farmer so hard to get?
I have no idea. I guess just because it was silly. Because he's
That's
like,
funny.
oh yeah, what did I get? And he gets a farmer. So he has like no power at all. But the catch of this world is that if anybody dies in the party, they can still be revived if the monster they're fighting dies. They have like a set respawn timer. But if all three of them die, that like a complete party wipe, then they all die for real. They die in the real world. They're just dead. So that's kind of stressful when like your warrior dies and your magician dies, and all you have left is farmer dude. And so he has to figure out how to kill monsters. That's what happens in like the first round that they go up against, because they realize that their powers at level 1 are not actually good. Like they think that they're really powerful, and they're not. Like the warrior, when she hits stuff with her sword, doesn't really do any damage, and him as a farmer can't really do anything. So it has that bit of that like D&D feel to it. Level 1, can't do anything. So very dangerous. And I think the problem with the show though is that I never really know what tone it's going for. It goes between like sort of horrific like horror style, like kind of like Re:Zero, into like really goofy humor. And some shows can totally get away with that. Like Doro Hey Doro is very, over the top and silly sometimes, but also really gruesome violence. This one, it doesn't blend well, and I can't tell what kind of tone it's going for. And for some reason, like with that, I just can't really get into it. And the main character, Yusuke, is kind of a shitbag. I don't like him at all.
Well, why is he a shitbag?
In the third episode, they actually get sent back home for a short time, because apparently these quests that they are given by the game master are on a time limit, and so they get sent back to Tokyo when they finish a quest until the next quest comes up like a week later or so. But so the game master calls him on his phone and says, you need another party member. How you recruit her is by hitting on her. Which is super weird.
Oh.
Spoiler, all of them become a harem. So what I thought was really cool before, it just turns into harem bait. So he has to go hit on this girl to recruit her. But when he goes to find her, she's being bullied in the girls' bathroom by they're stripping her naked. And his first thought, he spontaneously just like doesn't even say anything to them. He just grabs their phones and breaks them. I was like, okay, that was really weird. You think he'd be like, hey, what are you doing? Stop. He doesn't say anything. He just grabs their phones and smashes them on the ground. Then his first thought isn't, oh, this poor girl. He thinks, oh, if she commits suicide, then that's going to hurt my isekai world experience. I'm like, oh my God. That's what you're worried about?
I think his first thought was, I'm making so much progress with her. I'm so cool. I'm saving her from these bullies. She's going to be putty in my hands.
Oh,
and then,
God,
and then
the worst.
It's funny because, like I watched episode 1 and he was like super edgelordy at the beginning.
Yeah, he's very
like,
edgy.
This show is like kind of fun and like it's a growing party. These mechanics, that's the twist on isekai, but like he's just not vibing with me. And then episode 2. He
redeemed himself a little,
and he was like a team player, and he was helping everyone out. I'm like, okay, maybe we're turning it around. And then episode 3 is like, and that's part of just like the whiplash of like tone and characters. Like there's no consistency, and it's a cool concept, but sorry.
No, it's okay. You basically said everything that I was going to say. It's like I like the concept. I like that it did something a little bit different with the isekai genre, in that if it is very dangerous. If they all die, they're completely wiped out. And he's not like an overpowered protagonist. He goes from farmer, then the next round where they get to choose their classes, he gets cook. So it's weird that the girls are getting like the good classes, but they still can't do anything. So like the other girl who gets into the world ends up with a magician power, and she's super excited. And I thought she was really cute and adorable. I really loved her because she loves magical girl shows, and she's like, oh, this is my chance. I've had this as my dream forever. And then when she goes to cast magic, it just like makes her staff a little bit warmer, and she can't do any magic.
I don't get it, because like the warrior girl like is bad because like her mental like disposition isn't set up to be a warrior. She's kind of scared, she's timid, she's frightened, so it makes sense why she'd be a bad warrior. This magical girl seems like all systems are go. She's like the strongest level, and I guess it just takes long for them to bloom, but it seems, I don't know.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. And this dude gets cook, and out of nowhere he's like, oh, I can slice monsters up like I can see their internal organs. So like, despite him getting the weak class, he's still overpowered. I'm like, shut up.
Dungeon meshy.
Yeah. But, I mean, it's not a terrible show. It's definitely not for me. But, like, I could definitely see an audience for this show. Especially if you really like isekais and you really like fantasy shows. I could see that. I'm not really it's not vibing well with me, though, so I'm not going to lock it in. But if you're interested in it, it's called I'm Standing on a Million Lives. It's on Crunchyroll.
I could see this one maybe getting a listener vote, but
I don't know. How many people are watching it? I haven't seen a lot of talk.
Isekai. That means everybody in the world is watching.
It doesn't look terrible either. It's just, I hate the main character. And I
might like the next episode. Who knows?
Yeah.
This one's got, let's see. In the fall season, it's rank 12 of people watching it. So, but which means nothing, Noblesse was rank like 7, and that show is just
Listeners,
mind
come down
shocking.
To you have the power to vote in a lot of things actually this time of year, but most importantly our passes.
Most importantly, yeah.
Yeah. So here's where we are, guys. We've passed 4 shows here. We have Jujutsu Kaisen, Akudama Drive, Dragon Quest, and Our Last Crusade, or The Rise of a New World. And we have a handful of impressions to go here. We've got the Higurashi anime, Higurashi no Nakukoro ni Go. We have the Moriarty anime, the Yukoku no Moriarty, There's what else you guys have that haven't been covered yet?
I've got The Day I Became a God.
Yeah, Kami-sama ni Natahi.
And I have Ochikobore Fruit Tart.
Mm-hmm.
I think I have Adaichi to... Is it Shimamura?
Shimamura?
I can't remember the whole name.
Yes, Shimamura.
Gotcha. And that's it?
Yep. That's all.
All right. So we got 5 left to go, guys, and we've got really 2 shows left to pick out of the 5, and then we will have, and then we're going to be letting you guys, the listeners, vote on the 3 additional ones. So, giving you more say on which you want to pick.
If we don't want to pass our last shows, we can go back and pass a previous one. Is what we decided.
Yeah.
Like from a prior season?
No. But like from like the first round of impressions.
Mm-hmm.
If I was like, actually, I don't like any of my 2 shows left, I might go back and pass Taisou Zamurai, for example. So,
is that like, you watched 3 and thought it was bad, then you watched 2 more and thought it was good? Type of a deal?
Sure. Just we can change and move around picks as needed up until the deadline.
All right. Mm-hmm. Well, guys, thank you to everybody who watched live on Twitch. This is really a lot more fun with a live audience. So I'm happy to have all of you here with us every week, of course, and not to leave out people listening at home. So for those of you that are at home, of course, we love having you as well. So as always, thank you for tuning into the podcast as well. For social media, guys, you can follow the podcast at AAA Podcast. Mitsugi is at Pope Mitsugi. Mandy and Mason, where are you guys located?
I'm Mandy X Mandy on Twitter.
And I'm at Macy Pacey on Twitter.
Of course, you'll be able to follow us on Facebook and Twitter. And on the Discord, we encourage you to go to our website. And along the top, you can click the Discord button to take you to the Discord, where we have an awful lot going on, guys. What's going on the Discord?
First up, thank you to The Real Ghost for the Nitro Boost. We got a November running challenge up and going. Anime Club is watching the Tatami Galaxy November 4th, or is when we're going to be talking about it at 10 p.m. EDT. Come on, join us. It'll be a blast.
The next Manga Club will be on November 11th, and we will be discussing the first 2 volumes of The Wallflower. And that will be on the Discord Manga Club channel, 10 p.m. EST, because we changed time.
Hey! Move those clocks back.
But yeah, come to Discord. It's super laid back and a lot of fun.
One final time, guys, if you want to support the podcast, aapodcast.com/join. Head over there. You can get our hentai episodes and our hobby addicts and our after parties. We're going to record a hentai episode for you right now, covering the October shows. We'll see you next week, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Bye.
Bye,
guys.
Bye-bye.